Hello, my dear friends. How are you all? I hope you all are good and fantastic. So, my dear friends, you are very welcome in our lecture number 1, some important application of trigonometry. Okay, my dear friends. So, this chapter is going to be very amazing because, my dear friends, in this chapter, we are doing a lot of questions and applications of trigonometry. Okay, so in previous chapter you already learned about the trigonometry. What is trigonometry? What are the identities? Okay, so now in this lecture we are going to discuss a lot of questions and important applications. Okay, so my dear friends, I hope you will enjoy this lecture. So my dear friends, without wasting the time, let's start. Yes, so today we are going to discuss introduction to some application of trigonometry. Introduction to some application of trigonometry. So my dear friends, in previous lecture we will learnt about trigonometry, that what is trigonometry, okay, and history of trigonometry, identities, formulas, and do a lot of questions based on the trigonometry. What are complementary angles, what are supplementary angles. So my dear friends, trigonometry play a very important role in our daily life. Okay, trigonometry play a very important role in our. So my dear friends, trigonometry can be defined as calculations with triangles involving in the study of lengths, heights, angles. Trigonometry and its function have an enormous number of uses in our daily life. Okay, for instance, it is used in geography to measure the distance between landmarks, in astronomy to measure the distance of nearby stars, and also in the satellites navigation system. So there are a lot of applications of the trigonometry. Okay, so before going into detailed explanation of trigonometry applications, so first of all, let's start with some brief introduction of trigonometry. Okay, so my dear friends, we know that trigonometry trigonometry is a study of a relationship between angles, lengths, and heights. What is? Yeah, so trigonometry is a study of a relationship of between angles, length, and height. Okay, my dear friend. So it is emerged in the 3rd century BC, involving applications and from astronomy to geometric studies. Okay, now it has spread its applications into wider fields like engineering, physics, surveying, architecture, astronomy, and even in the investigation of a crime scene. Okay, you don't believe that trigonometry is also used in the investigation of crime scene. Okay, so my dear friends, you are amazed. Okay, yes. So what are the uses? So now it has spread it has spread its application applications into wider fields like engineering, physics, surveying, okay, and architecture, okay, and astronomy. Okay, my dear friends, and even in the investigation of a crime scene, in the investigation of a crime scene. So my dear friends, there are a lot of different methods to use in their respective fields. Okay, so apart from astronomy and geography, okay, trigonometry is applicable in various fields like satellite navigation. Okay, so apart from this, so what, so apart from astronomy, okay, apart from astronomy and geography, trigonometry trigonometry is applicable in various fields. Trigonometry is applicable in various fields like satellite navigation, we are using the trigonometry in satellite navigation, means we have to navigate satellite by the trigonometry. And what, developing computer music and developing computer music. Okay, my dear friends, and chemistry number theory, and what, chemistry number theory, and medical images in the forming of medical image, medical imaging. Okay, my dear friends, and electronics. So there are lot of applications of trigonometry and electronics and electrical engineering also, electrical engineering also, and civil engineering also, civil engineering. Okay, and architecture, architecture means in the design engineering, in the interior engineering. Okay, and mechanical engineering also. So the most important is mechanical, in mechanical engineering there are a lot of use of the trigonometry. Okay, mechanical engineering, mechanical engineering. Okay, my dear friends, and oceanography and seismology and phonetics and image compression and game development also, game development also. So my dear friends, you cannot imagine that there are a lot of. So these are the application of trigonometry. These are the what? Application of trigonometry. So my dear friends, I hope you understand these things, how we can differ, how we can define the trigonometry. Okay, and so there are lot of methods. There are what? There are lot of method and different methods to use the trigonometry in their respective application, in their respective fields. So like in satellite navigation, there is another method. Okay, and to find in height and distances. Okay, so there are again another method. So my dear friends, you have to be learn the concepts of trigonometry. What is trigonometry? What are the uses of trigonometry? How to use the trigonometry? Okay, my dear friends. So now I hope you get this point. Okay, so now if we talk about that, what are the method? Like if we talk about developing computer music. Okay, so how we can use the trigonometry in developing computer music. So as you know that sound travel in a forms of waves, that like trigonometry is used in developing computer music. Okay, computer music. Okay, so how to use the trigonometry in music? So we know that what? We know that sounds travel in the form in the form of waves, like this. Okay, and this wave pattern through a sine and cosine function. Okay, and this wave pattern is like this waves pattern through a sine or cosine function. Okay, cosine function for developing computer music. Okay, my dear friends, so if you talk about the sine function, I am giving a roughly idea that so the graph of sine function is like this. Okay, and if you talk about cosine function, the graph of cosine function may be like this. Okay, so my dear friends, you understand these things. So these are like sound waves. Okay, so this is the method, and there is another method to use the trigonometry in the developing computer music. I am giving just a roughly discussion. Okay, yes, now I hope you understand these things. So there are a lot of different methods to use the trigonometry in different applications. Okay, so now let's move on. So my dear friends, in this chapter we are going to see the application of trigonometry in the field of heights and distance, in the fields of heights and distances. Okay, so further in the lecture we will discuss about heights and distances. So trigonometry is used in measuring the heights of a building or mountain, the distance of a building from the viewpoint, and the elevation angle can easily be determined the height of a building using the trigonometric function. Okay, so let's suppose we have a building like this. We have a building like this. This is a building, not Burj Khalifa. Okay, this is a simple building. Okay, yes. So and this is a ground, this is a base. Okay, and building is standing in straight, so means this is at right angle. And if a person is standing here and he see at the top of the building. Okay, so now with the help of trigonometry we can easily find, if we know the height of the building and the distance of this distance between the boy and the building, so we can easily find this distance. Okay, with the help of trigonometry. Okay, so this is the method to use the trigonometry in the heights and distance. Okay, so we will do a lot of math, a lot of questions, a lot of examples in the lecture, in this chapter further. So my dear friends, in this lecture we are going to be use the trigonometric ratios, okay, for solving such type of problems. Okay, so with the help of with the help of trigonometric function with the help of trigonometric function we can solve the problem based on heights and distances. Okay, my dear friend. So like, let's suppose we have a right triangle like this. Okay, and this is a distance, and this is what? This is height. Okay, this is distance and this is height, and this is, we know that this is our hypotenuse. Okay, so now if we want to find the distance between these 2 points, so how we can calculate? We can calculate using trigonometric ratios. Using what? Trigonometric ratios. Okay, so in previous lecture we already learned about the trigonometric ratios. Now here we are just seeing the brief description about the trigonometric ratios. So my dear friends, so there are 3 trigonometric ratios, most important 3 trigonometric ratios. So basically there are 6 trigonometric ratios, but most common and important trigonometric ratios are sine, cosine and tangent. These 3 trigonometric ratios are called primary trigonometric ratios. Okay, and rest of the ratios are called secondary trigonometric ratios like cosec, sec and cotangent. Okay, my dear friend. So these trigonometric ratios, if we know the value of these trigonometric ratios, then we can easily find the value of secondary trigonometric ratios, because they are related to each other. Okay, my dear friends. So the value of these ratios are, let's suppose we have this is theta, this vertices is A, this is B and this is C. Okay, so now we have to find sine theta. So what is the formula of sine theta? Which is perpendicular upon hypotenuse. Okay, and what is perpendicular? So we have a perpendicular is AB. Okay, perpendicular is AB, and what is hypotenuse? Which is AC. Okay, and if you talk about cos theta, which is base upon hypotenuse. What is base? So the base is BC and hypotenuse is what? Hypotenuse is same as AC. And if you talk about tan theta, so tan theta is what? Perpendicular upon base, and we have perpendicular is AB, and what is base, which is BC. So my dear friends, I hope you understand these things. So these three ratios we are using in this lecture, in this chapters, for solving the heights and distances. Okay, so now my dear friends, this is enough for today, and we will meet in the next lecture. Okay, so thank you very much guys for listen me, and take care and goodbye.